So first off, with the materials that you need for the color packs, they're found all over the maps. These cochineals, which are found on the cactus, these give you the red color. The orange ficus, which is found in the water, gives you orange. Brimstone gives you yellow. Seeds, brown. False mandrake is purple, and that's just found scattered around. Glowing goop gives you the cyan, and that's found in the water as well. Plant fiber gives you green. True indigo, and this is found in like around oasis and stuff, gives you the blue. And the gray flower lupine, that gives you gray. And that can be found up on the cliffs and hillsides, so that's probably the hardest to get to in some cases, but everything else is easily available. You'll also need tar for the dark additive, and bone for the light additive. Each color has 3 different tones to it. So you'll start out with just a basic purple dye, gray dye, brown, yellow, orange, red, green, cyan, and blue. And by adding the light dye colorant or the dark dye colorant, you're able to get the 2 other versions, which is dark orange, light orange, and so forth. The process for actually creating the dye packs, which are these bulbs and flasks, you'll have to go to your blacksmith, and you'll see that there's a glass flask mold, and it takes 11 iron to make those. So you'll have to make some of those first. Then you're going to need crystals. So first step is make some glass flask molds. Gather up some crystals. Put the crystals in a furnace, and you're going to melt them down to glass. So on this one I have a flask mold and I have crystals in here. So I'm going to turn this on, and it's going to make the glass. And I think you need 3 glass for each flask. So you can see it's going through and it's melting the crystal down to glass, and then it's making the flasks based on the mats that I have in there. So we'll make up a few of those. So blacksmith, then furnace, add the crystals, add the mold, cook them up together.
Yeah, I'm out with.
Okay, I'm heading out too.
So now you can see it's making the glass flasks. Now these are empty flasks, and what you have to do in the next step is to fill them up with water. So I'm going to put them in my action bar. If you have a bunch of them, like 50 or 80, you definitely want to be in the river when you fill them up. But I just put the empty glass flasks in my action bar, and I'm going to use a fountain so I can fill up 5 of them. Seven. Okay. So now if I go in my inventory, you can see I have water-filled glass flasks. So I'm going to take those over to the cauldron. I don't know if I have coal in those. Cauldron's a little busy. Okay. So one of the things you want to make sure you do when you're mixing up the colors in the cauldron, you want to have everything else out of there, because when you start cooking stuff, it's going to try and grab anything it can, and it may start making, like if you put dark or light consolidants in there, it'll grab it and start making those whether you want to or not, so you got to be careful of that. I just need to empty this out. Steel fire. So I'm just going to use brimstone yellow because it's already in that other furnace. Okay, or cauldron. So here's the cauldron. I got my water flasks, coal, and all you do is, you know, cook it on, and it's gonna cook based on how many pieces you have. I've only got 6 of the flasks, so it's only gonna make 6. So if I tried putting some other color flowers in here, you're going to have to pick and choose what it makes and what it doesn't make. So it's easier just to have a clean cauldron, be specific with what color you're trying to make. So I'm going to turn this off. I got to move this out. Now I need a dark and light. Okay, I guess first what I'll do is I'll show you how you make. I'll take. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple of the light and dark consolidants rather than use what I have already made up. So let's take 4 of these. So in this chest, you can do it any way you want, but in this chest the way I have it set up is I have all my colors and I have what plant represents or goes with each color. Just so that if you run out of mats, you always know which ones you're looking for. Now in the cauldron, so this is what I'm talking about. If I put the dark, or if I put the tar in here and I turn this on, well, it's not gonna, it'll actually turn it dark, I think. Oh no, it won't. Okay, I'm gonna pull the orange out. I'm gonna put the empty flask in. I'm only gonna make 2 dark, so I just have to stop it once it's finished down here. So there's 1. There's 2. I'll pull that out. I'll pull out the tar. Now I'm going to make 2 of the light consolidant. Okay, so that's done. So now I want to pull this bone out of here because it'll create problems later on. I'll put the yellow back in. So now what it's going to do is I have 2 light dye colorants, so it's going to give me 2 light yellows. As it uses the light or dark colorant, it's also going to empty the flask, so you're able to reuse the flask. Take this out and fill it up later. Now I have 2 light yellows. I'll take this out. I'll put the dark in here. And I'll light it up again, and now it's going to give me 2 dark yellow dyes. So each color has 3 variants. I think there's, is there 9 colors? I'm not sure how many colors there are. Okay, so now I have light yellow, yellow, and dark yellow. one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're trying to get a color combination that works with your armor, you really want to have all the colors available in your inventory so that you'll be able to trial and error what you want to make use of. So right now I have my chest piece highlighted. I'm going to hit dye. I've only got these 3 colors in my inventory, so that's the only choice it's going to give me. If you have all the colors that are available in the game here, you're able to pick and choose and see what colors work well together. So right now you can see these are the different slots that are available. And you just highlight which slot you want to try out. Sometimes you have to get to know which one is which first. So the main color is this green here on the first color slot. If I hit the light yellow, kind of a light tan. And let's say for the leather binding, well, that's already a brown, right? I can do that light yellow also. And then for the armor, I can select yellow. So it gives you a chance to see what it's going to look like before you commit and hit save. If you don't like the colors that you've chosen and you don't want to save it that way, you can just hit original color. I'll just cancel. Go back in and make your choices again until you find the right combination, and then you'll hit save and it should be permanent. This is just holding your left mouse button down in order to scroll and turn the armor around so you can see what it's going to look like. So it's pretty easy. It's just some of the colors, you know, are can be a little bit gaudy. So I'll show you some of the crazy ones. The purple's not so bad, but like the blue, the red, the light red is almost like a pink, pretty much. Light gray is the closest you're going to get to white, and dark gray is the closest you're going to get to black. So I go back to my armor. Now you can see I added those colors. I have a lot more choices available. I can do light gray. You can see how that's almost a white leather. So that's not so bad at all. If I want to do for the leather pieces and straps, I can do, let's say red or pink. And then for the armor, let's do something bright, right? Let's do blue. Yikes. Yeah, so any color you use for the armor, it's going to be kind of shiny. So you have to keep in mind that when you're playing around with the colors. And then as far as the dark gray goes, let's try this for the dark gray. See how dark that is. Yeah, it's actually a dark gray. So that's as close as you get to the black and to the white. And I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Specifics, I'd be glad to answer them for you. You really have to play around with these dyes a little bit to get used to them, to find out your color combinations.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
They don't go together as easy as you think. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it very much, Kronk. So we got dark gray, light gray. And it's probably a good idea to have a whole chest that's just dedicated to your color dyes, because if you have a clan or just going through the different items,